That's filled with transfers this year. A record number of transfers. 11 newcomers, 8 transfers on the Washington roster. Really, except for Breidenbach, it's a brand new team, but the same starting lineup for the Huskies for the second straight game.
Let's see who can establish the pace that they want early. Maryland, we know, wants to play fast. They're going to get up and pressure Washington, try and get the game going. Washington doesn't want to run with Maryland. Can they keep it more in the half court here tonight?
First men's basketball game on the Big Ten Network in 2025. Happy New Year. Thanks so much for joining us. Jacoby Gillespie, the transfer from Belmont, throws one long off the glass.
Gillespie's been really good for Maryland, their second leading scorer. They had basically none from behind the three-point line last year, under 30%. So Kevin Willard went out and got some shooting. Gillespie, one of those guys, but a reason why Maryland is playing much faster and much more efficient on the offensive end is their ability to make threes.
Kevin Willard transformed his team in the offseason with that shooting.
And he was explaining it to us today how he did it in terms of evaluation. They use analytics and all that, but he hit in the portal because this team much improved from last year, especially on the offensive end.
Mason misses the three, but it's right into the arms of Tyler Harris. Offensive rebound for Washington.
Interesting that Washington starts with an offensive rebound because you thought that the real advantage for Maryland was going to be on both boards.
It leads to points right away. Wilhelm Breidenbach.
We saw at the shoot-around today an emphasis on getting Breidenbach threes because Queen likes to play in that drop coverage on ball screens and just in general clogging the paint.
Quick answer by Julian Reese.
I like Julian Reese a lot. Knows who he is as a player, scores on opportunity but not looking to score, but rebounds, blocks shots, really a big force in the middle for this Maryland team.
Why has he fit well so far with Queen?
Well, I think Queen has really helped him. He's taken a lot of the pressure off of Reese. He doesn't have to score because Queen wants to score, so he can kind of drop back into more of a complementary role in terms of rebounding, blocking shots, like I was saying.
Wasn't necessarily the non-conference that Danny Sprinkle wanted, but he's trying to build his team up at this point of the season.
Well, he was actually kind of pleased with based on who's been in and out of the lineup, who they have on this roster, like 9 wins. But you wonder, heading into Big Ten play, you know, do they have the personnel to really compete at this level? We're going to find out starting tonight.
He said, look, 9-4. There have been times recently around here that 9 wins for a season has been a challenge, but he knows there's a lot of growth that needs to be made in order to compete in Big Ten play. Of course, both of these teams have entered Big Ten play already back in December. This is the reopening of conference play across the league. Iheanacho drops it off. It's a tough one for Ossipor to handle, so it's a 2-on-1. It's Miguel. Couldn't finish, but a foul is called.
Well, what's interesting when you talk about taking over a program, if you take over a program where a coach left to take a bigger job but they were winning, that's different than taking over a program where they weren't winning and the coach got fired. And so you're kind of starting over. And you see with his roster, Danny Sprinkle, they had to basically start over. And so that takes time. But there's no doubt in my mind that Danny Sprinkle, and I think even faster than people think it's going to happen, he's going to have this Washington program back. We can talk about the guys coming in next year, the recruits they have. But just he knows what he's doing. And watching shoot-around today, I've been here a couple times already. The concepts that they run offensively, they are going to be a good offensive team. And I think as the season keeps continuing, they're going to continue to get better as an offensive group.
Even potentially somebody they're bringing in this year, Dominique Diamande from France, who's waiting on a visa, even though he's been cleared by the NCAA. Could play this season. Makai Mason. Oh, did that go out? No. Queen corrals the rebound for the Maryland Terrapins.
And so far, Washington's kept this game with the pace that they wanted.
They want it slower. Maryland wants it faster in a nutshell, and that's a turnover. Here comes Tyree Iheanacho, who transferred away from North Dakota twice during the course of his career. It's his third different school. And that's out off of him, except it was the wrong signal. And so it'll get fixed. Vern Harris, Jason Phillips, Randy Richardson on the whistles.
Well, you see that Washington isn't really walking it up, but they are going to take, as you see, sure who the ball went off of, but Washington retains it. But they're going to use more of the shot clock in the half court, make Maryland guard for a good chunk of that 30-second shot clock.
Coach Sprinkle told us they even set up some plays today that are designed to go longer. into the shot clock. Breidenbach the miss. Here's great Osobor put back.
Great instincts, Osobor. Big hands, long arms. We talked about that in the past. That allows him to get a lot of those 50-50 balls for a big. Gets a lot of steals. Well, you saw it there. Two, three guys around it. He came up with it and finished the play.
Maryland team that has gotten off to gigantic starts. That record-setting lead against Ohio State en route to a blowout win. They've led 12 times in 13 games at halftime, and Julian Reese throws it down.
They got a lot of ways they can go, Maryland. There's not a weak link in this starting five for Maryland, so it's not a surprise that they get off to really good starts. But again, game isn't fast right now, and that's in favor of Washington. Can Washington make enough perimeter shots to win this game? I think that's what it's going to come down to. When Washington has played well and won, it's because they've made some threes. And you can't do this against Maryland for sure.
And over a couple of times early, Miguel blew the layup.
I think because they have so much balance now on the offensive end that you really can't load the Queen very much because they have too much perimeter shooting on the other side.
He is 7th in the country in freshman scoring. Dylan Harper, Ace Bailey, both ahead of him, so he's 3rd in the Big Ten. Great Osobor foul line jumper.
On that short roll, Osobor doesn't shoot a lot of those mid-rangers, but he's capable. Couldn't get that one to go down.
It was incidental contact, so no kick ball, and Osobor is tripped up from behind. That'll go on Gillespie.
I mentioned the instincts early of Osobor. It's unusual for a guy his size to get as many steals as he does. As you see him go down, their feet just tangled up with Gillespie.
I've kind of been wondering if that might regress a little bit in conference play. He's been averaging a little bit fewer steals in recent games. He had 7 against the Division II school. And over the course of his career, he hasn't quite had the number that he's got right now, 2.1 a game, 4th in the league. But we'll see.
What's interesting is when you get into conference play, scouting reports get much better, though.
Oh, yeah.
So you understand what the other team's trying to do more than you do in the non-conference. So it might, but it might not either. If he's understanding what, like Maryland tonight's trying to do and goes by the game plan of the scouting report, I think those numbers could stay the way they are.
Rodney Rice knocks one home in semi-transition.
And this is what Maryland wants. They want to score so they can set this up. Pick up full, decide whether or not they're going to run and jump and try and trap it, or just make you use some shot clock.
The scramble, floater, Diallo, it's in.
Talented freshman Diallo, float game on the baseline that time. What's interesting about the game plan for this game is Kevin Willard told us the first thing, the biggest key was transition defense. And Danny Sprinkle told us an hour earlier, we're not going to run with it. So, I'm not sure transition defense is going to be as big of a deal as Kevin Willard thought coming into this one.
Loose on the deck, picked up by Rice. Loose again. It's been sloppy a little bit so far. Transition defense needed right now. Diallo, second opportunity. It's in.
I like the activity of Washington's defense right now. A lot of hands in passing lanes, disrupting this Maryland offense. Maryland 8 points in the first 6 minutes. That probably hasn't happened at all this year so far.
To follow up on your point, though, Maryland does want to slow people down when Maryland's playing defense. Blocked from behind. Washington seems to be fine with playing slow, as we heard from Danny Sprinkle, like you talked about. Sunday, don't miss a Hoops triple header. Indiana squares off with Penn State at the Palestra in Philadelphia. Purdue battles Northwestern, and the Huskies host Illinois. The excitement begins at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, only on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. The Palestra, Don.
Well, you have to be pleased if you're Danny Sprinkle with the start, because as we've seen throughout this early season with Maryland, and you touched on it a couple times, I mean, they just swarm people early and jump on them early. It hasn't been the case here tonight in the first 6 minutes. See where Queen's setting up shop? There you go. That's what happens if you double them. They got too many players. Geronimo gets the easy dunk there. But because he sets up shop out farther, it's a farther run in rotation if you do double him. So that's the kind of thing that can happen. If I was Washington, I wouldn't go run and double until he put it on the ground. If he's still got his back to the defender, I would stay home.
Finger roll is in for Tyree Nacho.
Nacho's kind of become that point guard for Washington, although I think he's playing a little bit out of position. But there's a lot of good players on this Washington team. They just haven't seemed to put it together consistently yet.
Quick second leap there by Jordan Geronimo, who scores 2 in a row. He transferred in from Indiana and is in his second year with Maryland.
Well, that was a concern coming in for Washington, trying to keep Maryland off of that offensive board. Geronimo attacking that time.
Maryland just a team that squeezes extra possessions. They offensive rebound. They also prevent offensive rebounds on the other side and force a lot of turnovers. So they win that possession battle. The one thing Washington, Don, is really good at this year is drawing fouls. The problem is they haven't made free throws.
That is the problem. You want to get to the foul line, especially if you're trying to slow the game down like Washington is tonight. A good way to do that is to get to the foul line. But 63% as a team, not sure you want to get fouled a lot when you're only 63 at the line as a team.
That's how they're second in free throw attempts in the conference, but only 12th in makes. Here's Diallo rolling, and that is swatted away by Geronimo. A good stretch for him after checking in.
That's what I'm saying, the depth of this Maryland team. You expect Reese, you expect Queen, but in comes Geronimo and has an immediate effect on both ends of this game.
Well, this is a guy that he was starting last year. So now you have, seems like guys like him, Deshaun Harris-Smith, that have accepted their roles this year as bench players as some more talent has come in through the portal.
Well, that's why they're so deep. This guy's got a lot of volume last year. And changed roles this year, you have to accept that. But if Maryland's going to be as good as I and a lot of people think, role definition is there. Now you just got to accept that maybe you're not doing as much as last year.
That's a foul on Derek Queen. That could be an important early foul. One of the keys from Kevin Willard was keep our bigs out of foul trouble.
Well, that short roll game, and Derek Queen will learn as he goes along. You rarely want to catch and go on that short roll. It's catch, come to a 2-foot stop in the paint, and either kick it opposite or get to the float game. He tried to dribble right when he got it. Smart play by the defender to step right in there.
We will see how long Queen sits. Second personal foul, over 12 minutes to go in the first half.
I think Maryland trying to speed this up a little bit. I think they realize now, 8 minutes in, that Washington's going to take their time in the half court using that shot clock that I mentioned earlier.
Foul is called with 2 in the first 8 minutes.
If we're talking women's hoops, we got to mention who Julian Reese's sister is.
There you go, Angel Reese, national champion LSU. She started her career with Maryland. Diallo trying to attack Reese there.
Christian King getting more of an opportunity for UW of late because of the lack of perimeter shooting. He can really shoot it. I think the more the season goes along, the more of an opportunity he's going to get just because of his ability to stretch the floor.
Had a very solid game against NJIT in Washington's largest win in a couple of years. Here's King.
Good look. See, that time Osibor set up shop in that mid-post area, so they didn't run and double him.
One-on-one, Osibor pushing Reese toward the end line there. Now Gillespie against Jace Butler. Two-man game with Gillespie and Reese leads to a Gillespie shot. Save back into Washington.
If they run with numbers, get one up early. Davis.
Oh, it's pure for DJ Davis, who's really been struggling this year. They need him.
And they got him for his perimeter shooting. He is a really good shooter. He's proven it at both his stops at Irvine and Butler as Reese gets the easy layup. But, yeah, 27% on the year for Davis. He's a way better shooter than that. Maybe tonight's the night he gets on track, gets his first one.
The one game he really showed up was the Apple Cup win, their highlight of the season so far over Washington State. Float game still there for Zoom Diallo.
Kevin Willard can't be happy with his defense right now. That's just too easy. Early in the clock, Diallo getting to that 2 feet in the paint. Gets the floater to go down.
Floater by Rice is in. It came in from Virginia Tech. Never really got going with the Hokies and found a home pretty quickly with the Terps.
Well, you got to feel good. A guy didn't play at all last year. He was able to come in and have this big of an impact for Maryland. It's good to see.
Diallo very comfortable in the mid-range. Back iron on that one.
You see what they're doing, and I mentioned it earlier, drop coverage for the Maryland bigs, and they're attacking that. Diallo float game before, that time pull up at the elbow.
He can really work well in that part of the court. Stolen by great Osibor. But you keyed in on it really quickly. This is the style of play Washington was looking for in this battle between two different paces. Catch and shoot king is blocked.
Well, one thing I mentioned on the pregame show with Dave Rebson and those guys was if you know you're at a disadvantage on the glass, you want less possessions. You don't want more possessions because that's more opportunity for rebounds if Miguel gets a three to go down. So it makes sense that Danny Sprinkle has this game plan, and it's working so far. I mean, they're down 3, but we've said it a couple times. Maryland has the ability to jump people and blow them out in the first 10 minutes.
20 different times this year, Maryland's got a 10-0 run or more, and that is just the second 3 of the season for Osibor, but they've come in back-to-back games. He's 2 for 10 on the year.
I think Maryland will live with that. Osibor shooting threes much more than they will with him operating down on that low block.
He's shooting close to 70% in the last 4 games, much improved from earlier in the season. But yeah, from way out there, that's a rarity for him.
I mentioned it earlier. One thing you can't do against Maryland is turn it over.
Here's Miguel in rhythm.
What happens too, AJ, when you play a certain style that Maryland's played, they play fast. When you get slowed down, everything becomes a little bit less rhythmic, and shots are different because you're not running and you're not in rhythm. Everything's kind of clunky in the half court. And I think that's kind of what's happening right now.
Even in this, it's been a continuous stretch of play. Diallo left-hand layup. Timeout taken by Kevin Willard.
We talked about the game plan for Washington and not depth and the quality of depth they have coming off the bench. Geronimo having a good game tonight.
Team that really had a down year last year in the Big Ten. It was actually Willard's worst year personally since 2012-13 season at Seton Hall. If you go by the wins and losses. But they completely overhauled their roster, brought in a ton of shooting around Reese and Queen, mostly via the transfer portal. They have all that depth.
I'm telling you, the way this game's being played, it feels like Maryland is really off balance offensively and just not in any kind of rhythm, and I think it's because of the way this game's being played so far.
Back into the post. It's that rip through by great Osibor. And Kevin Willard, he said it in shoot around. If you're Julian Reese there, you cannot get caught in the cookie jar there. You got to keep your arms up.
In the NBA, that's not a shooting foul, but they haven't made that rule in college yet. But you're right. He baits them into putting their hands in there, and they didn't give him the shooting foul. No way. I like that.
My understanding in the college game, if it's a vertical like that, then it is a shot, but a horizontal would be no.
Right. So vertical would be any shot. Yeah. That's not an intentional shot. Like, he wasn't going for a shot. He was going to get fouled.
Coach Sprinkle wasn't happy. Floater from Julian Reese is in. All tied up. 6.5 to go in the first.
This is what I was thinking before the game. Like, Washington, look, let's be honest. They're probably not going to challenge to win the Big Ten, but they have enough good personnel that they can beat people, especially in this building. And I think Maryland, it feels like they came out with the right disposition, but just the way that as Reese gets another floater to go in, you got to be patient. It's not going to go the way that you're used to playing it, and you're going to have to grind this one out. It feels like that's what Maryland's going to have to do if they're going to win this game.
And despite some of their bigger wins earlier in the season, maybe non-conference play or that one against Ohio State, off the dribble. Davis. And Queen's been on the bench in foul trouble for over 6 minutes at this point. Last touch by Washington, and that pass by Tafara Gapari.
Queen coming back now, so let's see if it changes. But he becomes the focal point in their offense in the middle when Queen's out of the game. And again, he's a reliable scorer. He's the third leading scorer on this team at just under 13. But Queen demands more double teams, demands more attention. That's why he's more of the primary option for this Maryland offense.
Both of them from Baltimore, Reese and Queen, and Julian Reese to the free throw line. In fact, they were teammates for 1 year, the same type of overlap. When Queen was a freshman in high school, he played a season at St. Francis Academy in Baltimore, and Julian Reese was a senior. And Reese made a comment that back then they weren't the players, half the players they are now, but they were unstoppable for a season back then.
Well, the one thing about Queen is he has transformed his body since he got to Maryland. Like any freshman coming in, everything's better. The sports performance side's better, nutrition's better. And they say he's lost at least 20 pounds since he's gotten on campus at Maryland. I think that's allowed him to be more productive, be more active, do more because he's in better condition.
Well, back on the bench quickly, but and you would think just maybe an offense-defense type of rationale there. Trouble getting it in. To Iheanacho it goes. Queen is a projected first-round pick.
This is what I thought we'd see right from the start.
Timeout
picking
call.
up and making them make decisions.
If one more second had ticked off the clock, that would have been a 10-second count, but Danny Sprinkle realized that was half
20. But even still, you haven't played a lot of college basketball to learn a lot of what you need. And for him to say that says a lot about how high of an IQ Derek Queen has.
Shot clock didn't start. Now it resets. The 10-second violation resets on a timeout, so that wasn't an issue, but the clock just didn't start when the ball was touched in play.
5:19 in 19.
When they start this possession, they had to get the game clock right, too.
Well, there's definitely not 1 second. Yeah, that's right, 19.
Support the outlet. He can do this. Bring it up, initiate offense, or attack ISO whoever's guarding him.
Washington going two bigs in their starting lineup the last couple of games. Osborne nearly caught by surprise by that pass, then throws it away.
Well, that has been one area this year with Osborne that's been talked about. Sometimes he's loose with the ball. Too many turnovers. For his usage, the more he turns it over, obviously the worse it is for Washington.
It was really bad in their first entry into conference play. He had a career-high 8 turnovers in the UCLA loss, and they had a chance to win that game if not for those issues with Osborne.
Their margin for error on offense just isn't that great right now because of the lack of perimeter shooting. So turnovers really make that come to light even more. And because he has the ball in his hands so much, they just can't afford for him to be loose with it and turn it over.
There's a whole lot that he does well,
yes,
but that's one issue that needs to be shored up. Queen back in there with the two personals. Spins to his left hand.
Tough shot. Good defense by Breidenbach, sorry.
Mason draws 2.
That's what they were talking about at shoot-around, trying to get Breidenbach spaced out on the perimeter and throwing it back to him once they got 2 feet in the paint.
Ooh, against Queen. He did not want to foul him, and Osborne knew it.
I would imagine if Queen, I want to see if they continue to attack Queen in those 2 fouls, just let Osborne isolate from the top.
Ducks in, loses it. We just said Kevin Willard admires the basketball IQ of Derek Queen right now with 4:07 in the first half. He's been interchanging him offense, defense, but trusting him 2 personal fouls to be in there.
Well, again, put it down right when he caught it. That's a freshman thing. Catch, look first, then make your play. Got an offensive foul earlier in the half. That time he turned it over.
That wasn't an example there of the basketball IQ, but he is still a freshman. 2-point game. Osobor going to work. Loops it to Breidenbach. Off the flare screen. He was open. Missed it.
That's the offense, so getting on one side to the other. Breidenbach spacing the floor. He can make threes.
Played his first couple years at Nebraska. He'll get to go up against the Cornhuskers later this season. Fake, take, and Miguel is nowhere close. Rebound, Osobor.
Job by Osobor keeping Reese off, the best offensive rebounder in the Big Ten.
There's his passing, and Breidenbach cashes in.
Now, when you lull a team to sleep and they defensively expect that you're going to use a lot of the shot clock, sometimes you can catch them by surprise. That time they did. Breidenbach with a big dunk.
Talked about a very unique matchup between Queen and Osobor. Reese involved as well down low.
Reese stepping up on the offensive end with Queen being limited with those fouls in this first half.
Really changed the complexion of this game. The 2 fouls on Derek Queen. From the elbow, Mason. Selton Miguel, USF transfer, sticks it up, wouldn't go, and a foul. Looks like on Osobor there. Check that out coming up after the break. Washington just down by 2, being led by their guy like that too for staying the course. You see a lot of times after a down year these days, a lot of players will transfer out. And that is up and in and one for Deshaun Harris-Smith, who also stuck around after an all Big Ten freshman team season, coming off the bench this year.
You're right, a big like Julian Reese and a quality big. You really just don't see that anymore. 4 years at the same place, productive every year. But Maryland's starting to impose their will a little bit here in the paint.
Now, assuming that we see something more from Queen as the game goes along and they manage that situation, what does Washington have to do the rest of the way to go from just being competitive to actually taking some control in this game?
They got to stay the course, because I think Danny Sprinkle, even though they're down 5, he's got to be happy with the way this first half has gone. But it comes down to what I said to open the game. They have to do this. They have to make those if they're going to win this game.
Nice rebound by Osobor, but he's blocked from behind. It looked like by Geronimo.
It's as simple as that with Washington. They have to make perimeter shots because other teams just aren't going to watch Osobor go to work.
Oh, man, there's laundry on the deck right now. Breidenbach fell down, and Harris-Smith put it home.
Another guy coming off the bench and having an impact. 6 quick points for Harris-Smith. You weren't expecting that if you were Danny Sprinkle in Washington before the game started.
Turnaround, hook shot, good for Osobor. Those were the 2 guys. They were in the starting lineup last year, Harris-Smith and Geronimo, now accepting their roles and giving Maryland great bench production. Deshaun Harris-Smith. Poke back to him. He collides in with Breidenbach, offensive foul.
Saw that coming. I thought Harris-Smith was going to pull up for that mid-range. Breidenbach was waiting for him. Set. Nice defensive play there. Now, again, we're not saying that Geronimo and Harris-Smith can't be productive and that they're not going to affect the game, but on the road, third conference game, they've been given opportunities, and they've stepped up, both of them.
Coming up, stick around for the halftime show presented by State Farm with Dave Revson, Rayfeld Davis, and Andy Katz. Break down this first half. Great Osobor keeping Washington in this game, down by 4.
What's interesting, because he's getting such deep post position and going quick, the secondary defender from Maryland can't get there in time. Smart play by Osobor not to wait, just catch and go.
I think in a lot of different ways, Washington has managed this first half well. The one issue is they've given the ball away a little bit too much at times. Miguel, tough shot over Iheanacho. Rebound, Geronimo. It's loose now. He dives. He's there. Maryland's already used a timeout in the first half, so he doesn't want to use another one. It's going to be possession error.
Geronimo again getting another possession for Maryland. Although it's UW ball.
Well, at least it flips it going into next half.
Immediately, because I had in my head that it was going Maryland's ball on the possession.
But they should wait until it goes inbounds to change it. Right. Anyways, 3 seconds. Diallo is fouled.
A good answer here late by Washington. Looked like Maryland was going to create some separation, had the lead to 5, and now Washington at the line can cut it to a one-possession game going into half. Diallo's proven he can do that. Get downhill, get 2 feet in the paint, and make plays.
Ousmane Diallo just under 70% from the line this year. Of course, Washington 345th in the country, last in the Big Ten, 63.5% as a team.
Well, the next step for Diallo is getting balance in this offensive game and becoming more of a consistent perimeter shooter to go along with that downhill game.
Number 7 freshman scorer in the country had a bagel in the first half. He's actually saddled with foul trouble, though. A lot of steps from Queen. They were telling Washington at shoot-around to be ready because he really has those long strides, and it didn't take long for him to get on the board. I was saying that in their last game, their victory over Maryland Eastern Shore, he was in foul trouble in the first half, barely did anything, and then had a double-double in the second half alone in that game.
I really like the fact that Kevin Willard, knowing he didn't score, knowing he didn't play a lot, goes to him on the first play of that first half.
Throwaway. That was the one issue for Washington, despite their competitiveness against, on paper, a superior opponent in the first half. There were still too many giveaways.
Let's see if Maryland ratchets up the defense. I have a feeling they will. Washington established that the game wasn't going to be fast, but Maryland, if they can ramp up the defense and turn them over, can get this game going faster.
They go right back to Queen. He's off the mark, but Reese keeps it alive.
They are a load down there, both of them. Reese just over 9 rebounds a game. Queen just under 9 rebounds a game. So you have to do your work early. You can't just make it a jumping contest with those two down there.
That's the #1 rebounding duo in the Big Ten so far this year. Or I should say this season. It could be confusing. It's a new year, 2025. Here's Rice leading in. Floater is good.
They can beat you. Reese on the drive gets cut off. Hammer pass to the corner to Rice. Drives in, makes a tough floater. Body language looks different for Maryland to start this second half.
Good pass by Osibor. Extra one to Harris in the corner. Just gets it out in time before traveling. Now Mason run off the line. And he's fouled.
That time they doubled Osibor in that mid-post, and he's stretching out a little bit, I think, for that reason, to see if they'll come. Makes that rotation longer for the other defenders. Unfortunately, Washington couldn't generate. Usually when a team decides to double a player and you kick it out opposite, it creates a shot. That time it did, and the spacing wasn't great for Washington on that last possession. But they get it back, and Mason gets to the foul line.
Has anything been different on film that you've seen the last few games? Because Washington's shooting numbers are up in the last several games.
I think it's just comfort that the longer this goes on, this collection of players, it's basically all brand new in a brand new system under Danny Sprinkle, that they're maybe just getting a little more comfortable. The problem with that is the level of competition is going up starting tonight.
In the first 9 games of the season, they were sub 30% from 3. And over the last 4 games coming in, they're over 40%. Different challenge, though, to your point tonight.
and moving forward. Illinois coming in here on Sunday.
Well, Maryland, a team that has the 26th most votes, one spot out of the AP ranking. They are ranked in the coaches poll. They're on the verge of being ranked in the AP poll for the first time in 2 seasons.
Because the coaches know more than the AP.
Yeah, there's really, you look at the metrics, you look at the film, there's no reason Maryland shouldn't be well within the top 25. They look like one of the best teams in the country so far this year.
Picked up his third.
And that's a big development for this, what should be a ranked team. You look right there, teams in the net, you see Big Ten top 25 teams. There are several in the net rating, the NCAA's official tool, that are not ranked in the AP poll in the top 25, but this is a big development, Don, in this game. Queen with 3.
At the end of the day, the net's more important than rankings when it comes to NCAA tournament selection time, and no doubt Maryland's an NCAA tournament team, but seeding in the NCAA tournament.
What do you think of Kevin Willard keeping Queen in there right now as he makes a nice play outrunning Breidenbach up the floor?
Well, he kept putting him in and taking him out in the first half to keep him going. The last thing you want to do is sit a guy for 10 minutes straight, which is usually about 20 to 25 minutes of real time. So he kept him fresh and kept him moving. But I think with a 5-point lead, he's going to see how this goes and trust that Queen, with the high IQ that we've been talking about all night, can stay on the floor without picking up that 4th foul.
At a certain point, you just got to try and roll the dice and play him, get something from him. Catch and shoot off the inbounds, Rice.
A nice job on the glass that time by Washington, keeping Queen and Reese off.
With Reese guarding Osobor, stepping in, lost it, picks it back up, and he's called for a travel.
That's the one thing Osobor, you would think, going back to last year at Utah State and this year, understanding and reading double teams. And if one doesn't come, and I mentioned it in the first half, him going quick. If I was Osobor, I would go quick every time. And then if that second defender comes late, maybe you pick up a foul, or you have a better look kicking it out.
Put Casey Nadefo in, the Oregon State transfer. On some bigger minutes against NJIT. Does a decent job there of guarding Queen, and it's going the other way out of bounds off of Maryland.
Look, I know he's skilled there, Queen, and that all looks good at 6'10", putting it down, getting into the paint, but that left-hand off-leg finish is a really tough finish, even for NBA guys. And I think that's why we don't know if Kevin Willard was going to take him out anyway because of the 3 fouls, but I think Derek Queen needs to understand that he can get a better look than that.
It's been a struggle at times, and it's a 5-second call. Iheanacho tried to call timeout, but 5 seconds first.
I think Kevin Willard went in at halftime and said, look, guys, we got to pick up the energy. We got to pick up the intensity. And it certainly seems that Maryland is playing a lot with a lot more intent and force on the defensive end this first 3 minutes of the second half.
Hard drive. Miguel gets it to roll.
That was
the cylinder.
That's your strong hand, right hand for Miguel. When you start going offhand runner floater game, those are tough.
You mentioned Maryland defensively. It's been their best scoring defense season since the early 80s so far this year, allowing 61 points a game. Another turnover forced on the backcourt.
Nothing fancy, just a regular DHO, and he turns the corner, gets downhill, and takes a path where he has to go up over the top of the defender. And obviously a shot he can make.
There's a lot of avenues to victory this season for Maryland. If one thing isn't working, they can go somewhere else the way this team is constructed.
I like that. Pocket pass from Rice, turning the corner. And Reese, knowing it's coming, gets his feet set and down. And knocks down. That shot's not easy. He just made 10, 12-footer right off the catch. He's got good touch, Reese.
Husky's trying to make it to this under 16 media timeout. Osobor slashing in.
It makes it easier for great Osobor when he catches on the move instead of just straight ISO post-ups. Get him going on the move, and that way he can't get doubled either.
Be patient. Be patient.
Rice tries to split. What was a 3-point game at halftime, made it 7. As Reese misses the mark there.
Good patience by Reese, though, to get a good shot. Just didn't get it to go down.
Banging in. Sabor got to his spot, and a foul is called on Reese.
Interesting. Maryland has made a decision not to go. When Osibor turns his back to the defender, most of the time it's been Reese. They haven't come. And that's putting pressure on Reese to guard him straight up. That time he put him on the foul line.
Honestly, it's surprising because I was talking to one of their assistants pregame, and the word was because they were so wary of potential foul trouble that Osibor could cause, they were planning on doubling Osibor most of the time.
They talked about that in the shoot-around, that they were going to go on the dribble, but they're allowing him to back down and trusting that Julian Reese can get him to miss. Reese doesn't have to block it or steal it, just get Osibor to miss it once he gets down into that scoring area.
Gillespie, head of steam.
Got numbers.
Louis Courtwright in there. Got a more extended look against NJIT. Creeping along the baseline. It's great. He already has a 3 tonight. His second of the season. Very short on that occasion.
I don't mind that shot for him. Keep the defense honest. If they have to come and close out there, if you can make one, that makes it even harder to guard as Rice knocks down the mid-range.
Just enough to keep him honest, you're saying?
Well, because we've talked about Queen and Reese don't want to come all the way out to the line anyway. They're drop coverage on ball screens, but also just clogging the paint when Osibor's spaced out there.
Good screen by Osibor to help Davis up the court. Now here is DJ Davis faking the corner. He launches, swirls out, put back in, and the foul, Diallo.
Diallo just finds ways to score, doesn't he? Getting downhill off the bounce, that time on the offensive board. I think if you're Danny Sprinkle, you would have rather had DJ Davis make that 3 just to kind of get him going. Made one in the first half, had a good clean look there. Didn't get it to go in, but Diallo cleans it up.
That has been a befuddling storyline for them this year. He scored nearly 1,500 points in his career. He transferred in from a Big East school in Butler, and he just hasn't been able to make shots this year. Davis.
And they've tried to put him in different situations where he gets looks, and it's just sometimes when you get going bad, it's hard to get off it.
Got to 5 points, though, as a foul is called on Iheanacho. Jacoby Gillespie trying to take some control of this game from Maryland. How good has Gillespie been this year coming up from Belmont in the Missouri Valley?
Derek Queen back in the game. See what kind of effect he can have playing with those 3 fouls. But Gillespie was highly regarded in the transfer portal this year. Maryland was happy they got him.
You touched on it earlier, their secret weapon with the portal, because I asked them, how are you getting all these guys that you're hitting on, that they're playing so well, even if they're coming up from lower levels? And Kevin Willard said they have an analytics company, a third party they work with that projects how high schoolers and portal guys will play at the next level. Here's Davis, floats it in.
That may help too. They're not the only ones, though. A lot of programs are using that AI and analytics and stuff to project how players would fit in their program, but Maryland certainly hit this year in the portal.
Good pass by Breidenbach. The crowd is getting into this. Portwright is fouled.
I'd like to see Portwright pull the trigger on that one. They had numbers, so even if he doesn't make it, good opportunity to get a second chance on the board because you have numbers coming down on that end.
Geronimo back out. Reese comes in. Osibor will come back in.
I think if you told Danny Sprinkle you're down 4 with 13:36 to go, he would take it. All Washington has to do is keep attached enough to try and win it at the end.
Huskies have had some good counter punches tonight. Davis blocked. Green got a piece of it, but there's a foul called. Ossibor keeping extra possessions going tonight.
He seemingly gets every 50-50 ball because of those big hands. I don't know if we can get a shot of it, but last time I was here, I mean, his hands are gigantic. And I think that's a big reason why he gets steals and all those 50-50 opportunities.
Difficult shot there, Don, for DJ Davis.
This is a really good sign for Washington. 2 in a row for Davis.
Talk about getting steals. Oh, Vern Harris had the crowd on a string there. Everyone thought that was going back to Washington.
Well, the crowd is into it now. And certainly, it's going to help Washington down the home stretch.
And as you saw that replay, the entire crowd here, which it looks like it's getting fairly close to capacity at Alaska Airlines Arena, filling in almost as the night has gone along. Crowd saw that replay as well. They know there should be Washington ball right now instead of that foul.
We know the Queen, when he gets it at that elbow, can be a trigger guy for other actions, but a lot of times, and we've seen it a couple times in the second half, it's just an ISO from that elbow. And he's probably not going to shoot it. So if you're guarding him, you got to understand he's going to put it on the deck and try and make something happen.
Breidenbach, really important for Washington. Missed some time recently with a head injury, including the Seattle U surprise loss. He's out with 4 fouls. So now they need something from Ibekwe, Casey Ibekwe, and there's a foul call.
Not a lot of fouls in the first half, but all of a sudden, Maryland's in the bonus with 13 minutes to go in the second half. So free throw shooting is going to become a factor here in a 1-point game.
Reach in, Gillespie.
Foul is on Maryland's number 0, Jacoby Gillespie. His 4th foul of the game, 7th team foul.
Who, even though he's just a freshman, Derek Queen, he is no doubt the leader for Maryland. He's number 10 in the entire Big Ten Conference in points per game, but he's been in foul trouble since almost the very start, only has 2 tonight.
But I would say this, if Maryland does go on to win this game, and he doesn't have anywhere near his normal production, that's a good sign for Maryland, that they can win games on the road with Derek Queen not having his normal night.
Well, this is the first Big Ten men's basketball game on our network in 2025, and this is, I know, the way you kind of expect it to go this year, Don, with so much parity across the league, it seems like. And yeah, Washington, I don't know if they're going to be in line to be near the top of the league this year, but they're at home. Yep. And this is the way it can go. You let a team hang around, especially on the road.
This is one of the better crowds I've seen at UW in a few years. And they're into it. Can you guard without fouling? You have to adjust to the officiating in the second half.
Foul is called on Davis guarding Jay Young. It looked like Davis did just about everything he could until the end.
Anytime you come down, see, he was vertical, and then you come down to try and block him. More often than not, they're going to call that a foul.
I get what you're saying, but he came down on the ball, it looked like there. That's a tough one again. They were a little shielded there from the other arm, that left arm. It is worth noting on that angle.
See if Maryland doesn't try and ratchet up the defense here if he makes his free throw and try and get after Washington a little bit.
Well, Washington just crept in front. Maryland answers with the 2 free throws.
Everybody's going.
Both teams in the bonus going forward.
I was just going to say that. Can you ratchet up the defense without putting Washington on the foul line?
We court right from the corner. Ibekwe is there. He's quickly tied up by Young.
Jump ball is the call. Possession stays with the Huskies.
And the Arrow will keep it with Washington. Well, after the Washington State win, where this place was packed, Danny Sprinkle, Washington's head coach, said, we know that this building, it can get like this, but we just want to see it with all Huskies fans, because it was close to split 50-50 in the Apple Cup win. This has been an electric crowd as the night has gone along. Courtright to Davis.
In a year or two, when they start winning a lot more, this place is going to be filled with UW fans.
And to the shot clock. Osobor got it off in time, didn't hit the ring. Great Osobor is one rebound away from his fourth double-double of the season. He's up to 17 points, and Washington is within one, hosting Maryland on the precipice of being ranked in the top 25. The Terrapins are ranked in the coaches poll, but really close in the AP poll. This one's going to go out of bounds off of Washington.
Both Osobor and Diallo have played really well tonight, but really the game plan from Danny Sprinkle and his staff has been what's been impressive. This game has not gotten fast. They've made Maryland earn everything. That's why it's a one-point game.
Turnaround jumper, Selton Miguel out of Angola. Front rims that one. Here comes Davis for Washington.
See where Miguel goes here.
He bluffed. This is ripped away from Osobor, and he actually was the last to touch it, just threw it out of bounds. That expression says it all.
He knows they're right there. Plenty of time to go, but you can't afford to have turnovers against this Maryland team. We've talked about that all night.
Ducking in, Queen. Foul. There was a delayed call there almost. The whistle came in, but waiting to see what Randy Richardson was going to signal, and it's going to be a 1-and-1.
Such a hard call because Queen is delivering the blow with his shoulder. What's Osobor supposed to do to hold his ground? You can't let him back him all the way down under the rim. But how much physical is too much physical on that?
Queen missed the front end. He is 79% this season, but missed there. Huskies down by a point. Good fake. Diallo missed it. Kept alive by Ibekwe. Back to Diallo.
Good decision by Diallo to throw it out that time.
Davis, a tough one. Nearly went home off the backboard. And Ibekwe with a whistle underneath, so he will go to the free throw line for a 1-and-1. He has struggled over his career from the foul line. 3 for 6 this year. It's on Jay Young, the foul.
Jay Young trying to keep the much bigger Ibekwe off the board. Probably a good foul right there, because if he doesn't do that, Ibekwe probably gets it and scores.
And he's 45 for 101 in his career, sub 50%. Oh man, it goes off the window.
Well, that's one way to make them. If you're struggling to lie, just glass. It's like Papa shot. The guys that have no touch go off window on the Papa shot. Guys that have touch don't use the backboard.
I think you're implying that you know how to win a game of Papa shot without using the glass.
Definitely.
Reading between the lines right there now. But they got the one free throw, then an offensive rebound, so a tie game and Washington's possession.
The ball in Diallo's hands a lot here in the second half.
End of the shot clock, Courtright. And there's a foul called on Queen. You couldn't hear it because of the buzzer of the shot clock, but the whistle came in. Vern Harris making the call and giving Queen his fourth.
Well, the level of physicality is ramped up here in the second half, but I'm not sure. You know, this is one of those deals where you could probably call a foul on every play. Probably a good call, though. If anything, that's a foul on Reese.
Oh. The bounces are just with Abekwe and the Huskies at the moment, at least.
I was going to say, if free throws are going in off the backboard and you're getting bounces like that, it may be Washington's night tonight.
This is looking like Pop-A-Shot a little bit right now, the way these are bouncing around for Abekwe, who, by the way, has barely played this year until that blowout against NJIT. Gave them some good minutes. Kepnong and Conway both out for Washington. Their interior shorthanded. Danny Sprinkle said they're going to need Abekwe in conference play. Geronimo, no, and that foul is going to keep it with Maryland and give them a 1-and-1.
Maryland's now going to have to. It was Reese in the first half with those big 14 points. Take a look at Abekwe's makes. With Queen struggling tonight with foul trouble, it's going to have to come from somewhere for Maryland down the stretch. 9:30 to go, down 1.
Julian Reese has gotten better as a free throw shooter this year. 68%. Up about 12 points from last year. Hard to tell which direction this game is going to go. Diallo gets the roll.
That's 3 or 4 times tonight where he's turned the corner, put the defender in jail with the snake, and then get into the elbow, knocks one down there. Big shot for Washington.
The roller, Geronimo, living up to his name there with that flush.
Good action there, Rice. Nice delivery. He's had, coming in, scouting report was his floor spacing and shooting. He's been making plays tonight with the pass.
Another Osibor turnover. As good as he has been, that's still an issue. Selton Miguel gets Diallo on the fake. He skies in for 2.
A good decision to pull it down from behind the line. Saw the lane, straight line all the way to the rim.
Wilhelm Breidenbach, 4 personal fouls, back to the scorer's table with just about 8 minutes to go in the second.
Tell you what, those 2 buckets have quieted this Washington crowd down, at least for the moment.
Osibor battling. Nice look. Davis. Court right. Spins baseline. Forces it up and in. Great move at the end of the shot clock by Louis Courtwright, who came in from Rhode Island.
Contributions from others. That's kind of been the theme of the night tonight.
He's been quiet much of the year, but stepping up tonight. Miguel puts his head down.
The complexion that Washington has wanted, and I think it's kept Maryland off balance to a certain degree. Rice makes another play for Maryland.
Two-point game. Tipped over, but still to the arms of Courtwright. Got some size. He can take someone down, and he does for 2.
Good poise to stay on balance and then step through for the finish.
That's against a bigger player in Jordan Geronimo. Reese against Breidenbach, who's got 4. Easy 2 for Reese.
Attacking matchups that are favorable, but also matchups where the defender's in foul trouble. See if they keep going to Reese.
19 points now for Julian Reese. Iheanacho with a burst.
He kept it in the same hand. Get it up on the window quicker. When you put that second hand on, it takes a half a second off. Got it up there before the defender could get there.
Miguel found a lane. carved in on the baseline, and Selton Miguel is going to the line. And that's going to do it for Proudenbach.
Which makes Washington awfully small here, the last 6:07.
Yeah, that's a lot of game time left.
Beckway's going to have to come in and give him some minutes. Osobor coming back in right now.
And returning to the game for the Dogs, number 1, Corey.
Just tuning in, you missed it. Derek Queen has been in foul trouble most of the night for Maryland. Picked up 2 fouls early in the first half. Right now, he's on the bench with 4. Well, the Terps, what they did in the offseason with the portal, bringing in guys like Miguel along with Gillespie and Rice, they transformed their offense, added so much shooting. Tonight, though, it's been quiet. Great play by Ian Ocho to preserve the ball. Now Diallo is blocked by Reese.
Veteran guys that have played in a lot of games, so you would figure they know how to close games as well with that experience.
They have a chance here up by a point. Davis falls down, no call. Put back Reese. Zoom Diallo, the answer. He has 18 points, a career high.
Reese late on the rotation there, and Diallo quick to get it up on the window.
Gillespie trying to find Reese. It's taken away. Here comes DJ Davis. Gillespie fouls it. And the nation's #1 free throw shooter last year going to the free throw line. And Davis.
It's like DJ Davis is breaking out tonight. Trying to guard Miguel down there on the block.
What do you think?
I mean, based on the way the game's been called in the second half and how tight it's been called, that's got to be something. And that something probably should have been an offensive foul.
Davis last year was 95%. That was #1 in the country when he was playing at Butler.
Well, there's no doubt he can shoot. And for whatever reason, only he knows why it hasn't been consistent this year in his shooting. And like I've said a couple times tonight, this could be the night where maybe he breaks out against a team. Got into the pull-up game. He's had a nice night.
This is Maryland's second true road game of the season. They lost against Purdue. Courtwright reads it and takes it away. Courtwright is fouled, and he finishes for the Huskies.
Well, made the right decision to go off a 2 instead of 1. When you go off a 2, you can absorb contact a lot better. You see they run out on the ball screen. Courtwright steps in the roll guy's lane and then goes off a 2. Takes the hit and still gets it up on the window for the N1 opportunity.
You said something earlier about how in Big Ten play it's less about scouting reports, although that was a pretty good scouting defense play right there. But the point is, Danny Sprinkle said something similar in his post-game press conference after NJIT, that this is smash-mouth basketball in the Big Ten. And Courtwright's kind of a smash-mouth player.
Big play there. 4-point lead for Washington.
Really more about execution at this point of the game. Queen back in there with 4, and he's clearly fouled. So Derek Queen, with both teams now in the double bonus. So 2 free throws here.
Well, I think what's happened in the second half for Washington is the crowd has energized their defense. I think their success on offense has energized their defense. And it's been awfully nothing easy, really, for Maryland on the offensive end in the second half.
Uncharacteristic for Queen in multiple ways tonight. Missing a couple of free throws where he's normally close to 80%. How do you manage the frustration, kind of deal with this from a maturation standpoint as a young freshman here with all that's gone wrong early?
It's part of the process. You got to go through it to get better at it. He's had a lot of success here early in his Maryland career. This is going to happen. You get into Big Ten play, there's going to be nights like this. How do you pull through to help your team pull this one out in the last 4:20?
A size mismatch. Ossibor 1-on-2. Deep three by Courtright at the end of the timer.
Good defensive possession by Maryland that time.
Courtright is cross-matched on Queen right now. Look out for that.
I was going to say, Reese has got to go. They can't make him tonight, but
a couple of weird ones go in for Ibekwe. One off the glass, one a high bounce off the rim. And wouldn't you know it, Maryland now with that miss is 11 for 17 at the line. Washington 12 for 16 tonight. 1 for 2 for Reese to make it a 2-point game.
And Maryland's going to have to rely on their defense to dig this one out if they are. Get stops without putting Washington on the foul line.
Maryland zone right now. Ossibor in on Reese. He throws it in with the left hand.
Let him get too deep, and Ossibor can go either shoulder, right or left. That time went right shoulder, left hand finish.
Asperis Yakuchonis, pretty good as well for Illinois.
He more than any of those players, maybe Harper as well, has elevated his draft status with his play so far this year.
Rebound, Ossibor. Huskies get the stop.
Interesting to see if Washington tries to shorten this game a little bit, go back to how they started the game, using a lot of shot clock in the half court. Maryland will live with that shot.
Long two miss by Fazumano Diallo. Now it's Queen. Thought about it. Drives on Ibekwe. And you said it, Don. I mean, free throws. That could be the factor easily. Who makes their free throws the rest of the way?
Ibekwe's got to understand that Queen's not a willing three-point shooter anyway. And at least right now, not a very good three-point shooter. 12% on the season. You know he's driving. And you know he's looking for contact. So Queen's going to attack that every time. The problem is you got to finish the play by making the free throw.
Queen has struggled with tonight. 1 for 4 at the line tonight. Derek Queen, again, close to 80% this season.
Sometimes when you get early foul trouble, it just throws you all out of whack. For whatever reason, you got to sit earlier than you normally do. Rarely do you see guys get in early foul trouble and have a really good game. Be surprised if Ossibor doesn't touch in this possession this time.
Rescreens for Diallo, now touches. Davis launches. It's gone for DJ Davis.
He's coming alive. They got him for his shooting and hasn't gone great so far this year, but having a good night tonight.
Selton
and allow Maryland to get a couple easy ones. So execution here, enormous for Washington.
Huskies tonight with 12 turnovers. A lot of those came earlier in the game. 2-minute mark.
I like this Davis, who's got it going now. High ball screen with Ossibor. Get it back.
Takes it back. Locks it up. Didn't quite get the roll.
A rebound by Geronimo. Did you see that? He got it right off the rim.
Got a 7-foot wingspan. Miguel kicks it. Harris Smith, extra pass. Rice had the look, missed it, but it's out off of Iheanacho.
I was just getting ready to say, Maryland, plenty of time, doesn't need a three, would take a three. Got a really good look for Rice. Doesn't go in, and then a mistake by Washington. They had two guys there to get the rebound and lost it out of bounds.
the intervals. Oh, Geronimo from the ceiling.
Great play design, great execution. Geronimo way up in the air to finish that one.
Quiet as you would expect the crowd with a 2-point lead with 1:10 to go after that.
Yellow looking to get his own.
In a little trouble. Nice drop off. Ossibor, what an answer.
We've talked about Ossibor's hands a lot tonight. And you don't understand how difficult of a catch that is. Interior passing that close to one another with some mustard on it, and he's able to catch it and finish it. Diallo got a little too deep and got stuck, and Ossibor was able to get it, and then Geronimo way up in the air. A huge basket for Washington right there. Ossibor makes his free throw, pushes it to 5 with a 1:04 to go. Comes the crowd.
They're on their feet watching Queen go to work. Wouldn't go.
When does Maryland foul? 2-possession game with only 1 second differential.
Would you foul?
Fouling right now, especially when you know Washington not a good free throw shooting team.
Problem is Queen can't really foul. He's got 4.
At this point, Queen doesn't really matter.
And at this point in the shot clock, they shouldn't foul.
Now you shouldn't foul.
Oh, they do with 4.8 on the shot clock. Reese commits the foul.
Foul on Maryland's number 10, Julie Reese. His 4th foul of the game. With the Dogs in double bonus of
Davis, second best free throw shooter in the building. See if he can knock these down. This is the big one. This takes it to a 3-possession game, 25 seconds.
This type of environment is what Danny Sprinkle, I think, envisioned when he took this Washington job.
This will go a long way in making it more consistent. They can win this game. Washington, no fouls here, no matter what.
What was that?
Free throw. Maryland's going to come, I'm assuming, try and turn them over, get a steal first.
Smartly, Maryland taking Derek Queen out, so not having to worry about him picking up his 5th when they will need to foul right away.
His 5th would only matter if this thing gets to overtime.
And they make Davis the inbounder, and then flip it to Diallo, which you can do. Time. Go for the tie-up. If you're Maryland, way up the court, dangerous pass is picked off. And then it's tipped out. They're going to have to look at this. They are going to have to look at that. You would think. They say it's off only with the 4 fouls. Inbounds to Harris Smith. Valuable time ticking off. They're looking for a 3. It's Harris Smith. Good contest by Diallo. It's a miss. Putback is in. No timeouts for Maryland off the bucket by Geronimo.
There's your quick 2.
Davis is who you want if you're Washington. Hard foul by Harris Smith to send DJ Davis to the line.
I think Harris Smith was intentionally going in that hard. It looked like he maybe got off balance a little bit. He was going in for the ball. But now, big free throw, obviously, for Davis. All he really needs is 1 to make it a 2-possession game. Remember, no timeouts for either team.
82% of the year, 4 for 4 tonight, and the best free throw shooter in the country last year at 95%.
So much difference between 2 shots and 1 and 1. That first one's so difficult when it's only 1 and 1. So now, again, should I say it a little bit louder? Washington, the only thing you can't do here is foul.
They didn't hear you last time. So.
Exactly. You'll live with them scoring. It doesn't matter. They can't stop the clock.
Davis stays perfect tonight.
Let him score.
Osabor is fouled with under 6 seconds to go. This is not the way the Terps thought that it was going to go tonight. Barely a blemish during non-league play and the earliest part of Big Ten play in December. Really something we talked about coming in, the foul trouble. The only time they've struggled this year, you look at, for instance, the Purdue game. Julian Reese fouled out of that game with about 7 minutes left to go.
Got to give Washington a lot of credit, and Danny Sprinkle, great game plan, kept Maryland off balance all night. The game never got fast, it never got sped up. Yeah, Washington had some turnovers, but not a ton of turnovers. And we're able to grind this one out.
It's going to be still a 2-score game here, regardless of this free throw, but not much time left. Rodney Rice gets one off. No good, and the Washington Huskies have their first ever Big Ten Conference win.
Big time win, and again, we just talked about the game plan, but the players executed. I thought